Hi everyone. Welcome
Hello.
Hi.
to welcome to another live show of processes and platforms. I think we are live, so that's good. We're still learning. So it's going to be potentially slightly still clumsy, but I think it's we'll get there. We'll get there. So this is a show for all the topics related to platforms and processes. And I'm the CEO of Proprium Agency, and with me here's my co-host Judita and our lovely guest Teresa. Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
So, Judith and me are both working in Proprium Agency, which we've told many, many times about. But Teresa is our guest today. And I also have the privilege to say that she has been my mentor for the last 5+ years. So I think,
Wow.
yeah, 2021. So I think this is going to be a really, really great conversation. And I would love for you to introduce yourself to our audience, Teresa.
Well, thank you for an opportunity to be with you today. My name is Teresa Kane. I am based in Toronto, Canada. I have been a self-employed consultant for a long time, and my clients are often associations for whom I do strategic plans. I sometimes do executive search, and I also do organizational reviews. So that's who I am.
And this is exactly our topic today. And we're going to go with a niche topic under associations, I would say, which is association membership management.
Yes.
So we've encountered, I also have background in associations. We work with associations. So we've encountered a lot of things that they struggle with. So I'm wondering,
Yes.
which are the things that you see in almost every project when you work with associations related to software and platforms that is something that's a pattern?
It's a great question. In the association world, I often conduct an organizational review. And when I'm hired to do a review, usually the presenting issue is some kind of tension. The staff feel overworked. The board doesn't know what the staff is up to. The staff feel that the board are not really guiding the association. The board feel the staff don't work as hard as they can. And that comes out often in personalities. That comes out in so and so doesn't think this other person's doing a good job, or that kind of very human tactical issue. Um, what is often happening though is that there's a little bit of personality in the conflict, but what is really happening is the association has faced a change of some kind, an increase in the number of members, a new strategic opportunity that has come their way, a strategic avenue that has shut down, a change in funding, member expectations. Some big externality has affected how they do things, and they don't have the systems to support it. So, what an association could do manually for a long time or could track on Excel, for example, no longer fits the case. And they are under a lot of stress because they don't have the processes and tools to track what's going on. The board is looking to the staff for dashboards and for quick results. The staff has no way to calculate it. That's one thing that happens. Another thing that happens is members want, in the Starbucks world, where we all get to have our very particular kind of coffee, we as consumers on the internet and everywhere else want our very particular membership experience. The association doesn't have the staff because staff is often constrained in the association world. They don't have the number of people to create the personalized experience that everyone wants. So enter with that, what we have discovered is that good tools can go a long way to helping members select the kind of way they want to interact by an association, by the stage in their career, by their topics of interest, by the kind of place that they work, by their interest in advocacy, their interest in regulatory affairs, their interest in professional development. So all of that number of variables that an association offers gets very hard to manage, but with a good tool system, members can feel a very customized personal relationship in the context of even in the context of a large association.
So I think this opens a lot of topics and sub questions because what you said is very crucial. And it was a lot of information in very short time that is so, I think, packed with value that if we were to go through all of them, we would need 2 or 3 hours at least
Yes.
to just like tackle each one of them. And I think the pattern between them is that even the most qualified leaders, even the most, long lasting organizations have these problems. And if
Yes.
they had the systems and processes set in place, I think what you're aiming at is that it would not come up in that way that it usually does. Um, or am I wrong?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think that if the systems were in place, the association would more quickly be able to take its own temperature. And by taking its own temperature, could monitor that temperature and address things as they come up. Rather than getting to the point where I get called in, which is often some kind of crisis. Um, it would empower board to better understand what the staff does. It would empower the staff to be able to allocate resources to the areas that give the most demand. And focusing on today's topic, it would empower members to have a personalized experience, which is the key to success in associations these days.
So when you say personalized experience, what do you think members expect from modern associations in their experience?
Members expect to be able to meet whatever stage of their career they're at, or whatever stage their industry is at. They expect their association to provide them information, experiences, networking, and exactly that corresponds to their experience, so that they could be, for example, a new entrant, someone who has just passed the exams at a regulatory college and they're simply entering a profession. They want how to get up to speed, how to get further accreditation, what is the career path. It can be someone that's at the middle of their career that wants to understand how to get to the next level, or what they want to understand is how they can give back. It can be someone at a senior stage in their career who has really seen a long arc in their association's life, and what they're interested in is often advocacy, so that they can be part of the conversation with government authorities and regulatory authorities to ask for change.
So, if I'm a member and I'm entering a professional organization and I have those expectations, and that organization has a lot of members, a number of volunteers, there are projects, engagements, everything that kind of, made me want to join. And I join, and there's nothing happening. They don't know, when I need to pay my next membership
Yeah.
fee. I don't know where my data is. I don't know where I log in. When I email somebody, I don't get any reply. My membership fee might even be not fully utilized because I don't know what else the
Yeah.
organization is offering. Is that something that you see from the member side that's happening?
Absolutely. And it's happening more and more as organizations have gotten more complex. And it has to get addressed, because what research shows is that best practices tell us that the best way to keep people in an association, renewing their membership and speaking to other potential members, is that 90-day onboarding process. If you can reach out to people in a customized way in that first 90 days, get them involved in whatever track they're interested in, the education track, the volunteering track, the attend conference track. If we can get people involved in that first 90 days, the odds of them going from a quiet member to a deeply engaged member that becomes a member for a very long time goes up astronomically. So
But if I have 2,000 members and there is 10, 15 people in the board, how can I do that for every person that joins? It's a lot of work. So what do I do? How do I get them?
automation.
Okay.
So the trick to giving members a personalized experience is it feels highly personalized for members, but behind the scenes, it really isn't. There is a welcome email that comes, for example, or welcome video that comes from the CEO. So glad to see that you joined. Here's all the things that we offer. There could be a survey that goes out and asks people what they're most interested in. There can be the local or regional rep, which is often common in large associations in either Ontario, the province I live in, which is a very big place. It takes 2 days to drive from one side to the other, or across Canada. There can be, in Kelowna this week, there are the following local events, and that can all be customized based on what is in the database. So we have people's preferences, we have people's stage of career, we have people's local address, we may have people's employer. So that can all customize what people get, so that they have digital information that comes their way automatically, and then introductions to the people that also support the association beyond staff, so they get that that warm welcome that we all look for.
So you worked with a lot of associations. What do they usually use for that? How do they automate this?
Well, they do a few things. Many associations use Excel, and Excel just cannot allow the level of customization that you want. It's just cumbersome. You end up with Excel membership database version 1, version 2. It becomes it quickly falls apart. There are membership and exclusive management systems in the association world. And there's some that are good. What most associations report, though, is that they are cumbersome to install. They are slow to install. They don't provide the complete integrated experience for members and the link to programs and events, the link to billing. And they also, when an association needs a change, it can be expensive to set up and expensive to change. One of the things that's happening in the association world these days is there's a lot of mergers between associations. So associations, two related professions that are under the same umbrella might become one association. Then merging membership management systems is very, very difficult and costly.
So, pardon. So I worked with a few specialized softwares for membership management. They're not sponsors yet, so we can't mention them. Joke aside, I've seen a lot of them from the inside out, and what I've noticed is that usually they solve one problem really well, but they
Yes.
don't solve most of the things that the organization needs. And the other thing that also struck me was how not flexible they are. So
Yeah.
it's pretty much set up for you. Somebody thought it through for you, right? So you just enter on the member card. You have certain data. You can have some custom fields, but you can't rearrange stuff in a way. It's really hard to connect them because most of them are very specialized, and you need a developer to connect them with
Yes.
other tools you use, like Google Workspace, Microsoft 365, or any of those. So that's a huge issue. From my point of view, as we do the work that we do, we help with software implementation and business processes. And I've noticed that you don't have time when you have so many events and you have so many members, because at the same time you're onboarding people, you're working with the board, you have your own obligations as an association that you have to fulfill throughout the year, and most of the staff is not even full time in most situations, so only part of the team is there full time. So there's a lot of combinations that I don't think we're taking into account when those
Yes.
specialized softwares were done. What do you think about that?
I think that's absolutely true. Associations, just they're not typically extremely large, but they're shockingly complex. So unless you've got systems that ties that together, then you bump into all the things that you mentioned. One of the other things, to build on what you said, one of the other things I found is the memberships database is often static. So the one person who installed it, the staff person tends to be someone who's fairly technical. They know what they're doing. If they leave, the rest of the association doesn't know how to work it, and no one else can access what they want and need. So it becomes something that is not, it doesn't live up to its promise of being something that integrates the operations of the association, the reason it exists, with what members are looking for. So absolutely.
So I think that with that in mind, we prepared one thing that we think would be a great solution. So we're talking about a category of software, which is a relational database type of software. What we're going to show you next is the software is called Smart Suite. There are other types of similar software like that on the market, so it doesn't have to be Smart Suite. We do believe that is a great solution. So we wanted to show you the example inside of the tool. And Judita, you can tell us a little bit about Smart Suite before I switch us to the shared screen, and then you can show us the magic.
Yeah, for sure. I think what you've said is really correct. Teresa, you said like most of them use Excel and Excel spreadsheet. And I think this is sort of similar, but it's like an upgrade. Like Laura said, it's like a relational database. So you have the ability to connect the tables. It's like you being able to connect a different Excel sheets and basically different Excel files as well. So I think that's the magic of Smart Suite. And what you also can do, you can click on a certain data. Like imagine clicking on a name in Excel and then a card opens and then you see all of this information and then you jump from that sort of tab to like a different table, but you don't have to actually move. Like you can touch the points from just the one place where you entered, if that makes sense. So I think
So it's all
that's
integrated.
Yes. And what's
Okay.
also fun with Smart Suite is that you can basically show certain type of data. You can group things, you can filter things. There are so many different views. You can visually show the charts, the calendar views, the you can even you have like a map view, so you can see, for example, if you have events, where are those events? If you have projects, you can also show where they're at. You can also have a calendar. You can also have notifications. There are so many things. It's like a very, very big upgrade, and I think it will really be helpful to like associations to basically use. So we prepared this very sort of like a simple demo, like it can be built upon, but it will be basically we'll show you like the general things that you can track.
Excellent.
So yeah, let's start. Give me 1 second to switch my tab. So this, what you see is like a general dashboard. So someone comes here and can basically see what the active members, how many active members there are, how many active projects there are. And what's really fun about this is that it's not like a static thing. You can literally click on any of these numbers and it will open itself up. And then you will see all of the members. And then what you can also do is enter like a card for that specific member. And you will be able to see these sections, which you can also open up and then see more information about them, like their type of membership, when they joined, their address. It is also connected to their fees that they maybe paid or didn't pay. And you can also see on which projects they are or were, and then also events. So it's very, very like useful. And you can also see your revenue, your outstanding invoices. Here we also have like a donut chart, members by type. We also have fees by status. When you like hover over it, you can see how many there are because it sums it up. And then also you have the total amount here. And this is also a calendar view of things. This basically presents the events and it is filtered in a way so that you can see upcoming events. So we see in April, we don't really have anything scheduled, but if we go further, we can see and I want to see more about that event. So I can click on this and it will open up. And then you can see basically the status, the type, time and date, the description. We can also see if this event is tied to like another project, who are the attendees. Like it's very, very fun. And then you can also like, I want to see more. What is this project about? And then you can click inside and you can see how. Let me just go back for a second. When I open the first card up, we can see here events. So that means we are now in sort of like, imagine your Excel spreadsheet called events, right? And then I can jump from this to projects. Now I'm in projects, but I am in this specific project. And then I can see the general information of that project. Okay, it is in progress. Yes, we have like an event. We can see the members. We can see like events. And then we also have the grants if there are any. And basically it is all tied together. So I think this sort of like a dashboard ties everything up. We can also add other things, but this is just like a general representation of the main ones. And then we can go to basically what I wanted to say. In dashboard, we pull information from all of different tables. So it pulled from all of these tables. So from the members, membership fees, projects, grants, events. But then we can also go to like a certain table and then we will see this. This is like a view where we have a list of all of the members. And on the left, we have many other views. where, for example, here we can see the pending members. So these are the ones that applied but are still waiting for their answer. So we can open either one of them and then also see their information. Maybe we're ready to make like a decision. Maybe they will go from pending to active, and then they will get their email. Like Teresa, you said, they have like maybe some sort of automation, send them an email. And then here we have our active members. And what's interesting here, we have like a map view. So we can see where our members are right now. So for example, in Croatia, we have 32. And then you can see the exact cities and even up to like an address. For example, if I click here, I can click on this, and then we will see, we can expand the record again and see all the details, who that person is, where they are, and so on and so forth. And now I will also show you one other thing. What's great about SmartSuite is, like I said, you have different views, but there is also one fun thing. You can create a form that you can then share on your web page. And then everyone who has the link can enter a form, and they can fill it out, and that information will come into your SmartSuite. So let's try it out. So we will go here. And now I'm like, I will pretend that I'm someone else, and I want to join and become a member. So let's say my name is Jennifer. You can also, add these things. You add like a field, and then you can add like a help text and so on and so forth. So you can basically guide your perhaps future member on how to fill this in. And we don't see this right here now, but it can also be conditional. So for example, if I select that I am like an individual, maybe another section will open. But for this, we didn't really want to complicate things. So
I have so many questions.
Yes, write them down.
We have enough time. Yeah, we'll go into questions, and whoever is watching us, please send your questions into chat. Also, we'll answer your questions live if you have any.
Street. Let's say it's this one. And then we can, if we have any additional questions, we can add them here. And then save this. And then submit. And when the form is submitted, so that potential member will come into our table, and we can go to pending members. And as you can see here, yes, here Jennifer. Yes. And we can, what's really fun is that we can like pick and choose if there is like a default status. So I put that the status is like pending by default. So when someone enters, they're immediately pending. And then every day I can come here and see, do we have any new applicants? And then I can go inside, read everything they wrote, and maybe decide, will we let them join or not. Wow. So here are the members. And then also in another table, yes, everything is connected. So the members are connected to membership fees, and we have them here. So we also can filter those by type, for example, by pending membership fees. So we need to see who didn't pay, who needs to pay. Maybe we need to send them like an email or something. We can also have an automation to send them like a notification, hey, you should really take a look at this, it's pending.
And definitely, and then, if I can add, you can also send text messages if you connect your text messages provider or anything like that, so they get reminders. Yeah.
I now remember something, and I want to talk about this as well. So let's say we said this is pending, we find catalog, we can also send them like a message from communication center. So this is something that SmartSuite has. We can send basically, let me just see, where are the emails? we can send an email from right here. You don't have to go to your Gmail or Outlook. You can basically send them an email from this sort of tab, and it will come to them, no problem. So that's another way to reach out to them, and maybe, whether it is like a notification or reminder, or maybe something else. It doesn't matter. And then we have projects. So it works the same way. We add new projects, and then we can add members to those projects. We can add events. So basically, if I have a project, I can add a name, I can add a type. Basically, let's say I'm planning a project. Start day will be in May. End date maybe will be, so this is like the end. Let's say our budget is 50,000. We can add a description, and then we can add members who will be on this project. So let's choose a few of them. Link, very easy. And you can also, what's fun, if for some reason the person didn't fill out the form, but they by paper or something, they
Right.
are a new member, you can add a new member even from this tab. You don't have to go to like a members table and then click add a new member. You can basically click here link, and if that person is not here, you can just click plus and you can create a new member from here. So that's another fun thing. You don't have to be in that table to create a record for that table. And then if we're planning some events, let's say I will, because those events are not here, I will have to click create new, and then I can create a new event. This is also plan capacity, let's say 200. Some sort of workshop we're doing. And yes, right now you can see that it's already connected to a test project because I am creating it from that tab. And we can also see the attendees that we will add. Once we click save, the event is created. And then when we go, I will show you now, when we go to the events table, and we can go to, we have events by type, but we also have like a filtered view for planned events. And then we can see our planned event that we just created from like a different table. And we can open it, we can see what was written, project, and then maybe I have to add like, okay, this person will definitely come or something, and then click save. And also here we have another type of view. It's like a Kanban view where we can see these cards. What's planned, what's open for registration, and so on and so forth. And all of these things that you see, date and time, event type, location, it can be just that, but we can add even more fields. These cards can be even bigger, and you can always click on them and see the details of that card. And I think the only table that's left is the grants. So for this one, we also have a few things that we added. So here you can see like a general information, the grant name, type, status, the amount we requested, the amount that was awarded. Here we also have this type of field that we can add a documentation. While we are applying, we have notes, and then if this is in association with some sort of project, we can link that grant to a project. We can see the pending grants, so something that we're currently waiting on and wanting to see. So this decision is gonna be on July 4th, May 9th, and so on. And also we have them here by status. So all of these tables that you've just seen, and the dashboard and the views, this is just like a simple way to track things. But what's really fun and really great is that you don't have to move, okay, I need to add a new member, I need to be in this table to add a new member. Okay, I added a member, now I need to go to the projects table to add a new project. And then how will I know if that person is connected to that project, right? With this, we can really easily just link things. That's why the Smart Suite is great, because these fields. As you can see this in blue in the background, these fields are called linked records. So we can easily just link this person to another event, and it will be added to that event. Very simple. You don't have to go and then mix and match, and then you forget something, and then you're like, why is this person here or isn't here? Is this event created or isn't created? Like, it's very easy to track things. Yes, and you can also always sort things by some sort of, let's say, first created date, last created. You can filter things by status, by type. You can group things. You can also spotlight things. Here we don't have any, but SmartSuite also have the ability to create different automations. So for example, like I said, let's say we change the status from pending to active, and we can set up an automation that says that the trigger is when the status of a member goes from pending to active. Send them like a welcome email, right? With all of the things that we need to send them. We can sort of do these little things that will save us a lot of time. We can set up notifications and emails and texts that will come to us if we need to be reminded of certain things, so that we don't have to really keep everything in our head, if that makes sense. So
Yes.
yeah. So what do you think, Teresa?
I have so many questions. Okay. Is there, in an association, not everyone gets access to everything. So can you also set up levels so the directors get access to certain information, staff get access to different information?
Exactly, exactly. So basically, this is more of like me tracking as a board member, or as me being part of this association as like the main person. But we can easily, even very granularly, pick and choose who sees what, who has the ability to change what. So I can say this and this person cannot, see, for example, membership fees, or this person doesn't have the permission to edit anything. They can only see certain things. What we can also do is create the sort of a portal for our members, so that they can enter their portal, they can see their documents, they can see what projects are there on, do they need to prepare for some events that are upcoming. So there are a lot of things that you can do, and basically grant what you want who to see and be able to change.
And I would add,
fantastic.
up until the point, I would just add really fast, up until the point where you can even look at the same table, and I can see 5 fields, 5 columns here, and Judith sees 3. Or
Yes.
I see 10 results and she sees 2. So we can literally pick and choose up to very micro levels, which is, I think, really crucial, especially for when you have confidential data, such as the membership addresses and all of those. And I think that I just want to emphasize, everything you see on the screen is flexible, just like when you create something in Excel or Google spreadsheets. Basically, the interface has its rules, right? But then everything you imagine to build, you can build there. This just has more options because it's a relational database. I always mix up the R's. It's a relational database type of software, but this is a business management software also. So it goes beyond what we are showing. We just wanted to focus on this niche, but it can do so much more. Yeah.
Exactly.
So is there I suppose I'm an association executive. I have 2,500 members. I can't do this in Excel anymore. I talk to Proprium. From the time I talk to you to the time I can have this set up completely customized for my association, what's that timeline like? It looks like a lot of work to me.
Well, it depends from depending on, like you said, if you have like a lot of members, because we can build this based on your processes and documentation that you have and everything that you provide us. So we have to take that into account. We also need to take into account, do we need to do like a certain education? How big of that education is going to be for the members? How will they use it? I think it is a process, but it usually doesn't take that long. Correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, but it can be done if it's like a smaller type of association. It can be like a couple of weeks, or if it's like a bigger, it can be maybe
Couple of
like
weeks. That's
Correct.
yeah,
great. And it
yeah,
starts, if I understood correctly, it starts with a process review so that it's completely customized to each association
yes.
client.
That's the whole point. And I think we also always sort of focus on the process because that's the most important part, so that we can basically mold this that fits your processes, not just dump this on you and then just sort of you trying to figure things out, like how do I do this or that? This doesn't somehow fit in what we actually need. The thing is, the process is the first and then the software is the second. So yeah, that's the first part. And then once we figure that out, everything else is basically very easy. So yeah.
Okay, and then if I understood correctly, once it's all set to go, Proprium also offers training to
Exactly,
association staff.
exactly. That's the part. We have like the whole workflow. So we first do, like you've said, we focus on the processes, what you do, how you do things, your members and everything. And once we have that figured out, we build a solution, and then we have to teach you how to use that solution, right? We also write SOPs. We have like the sort of like a member type of thing, how you use it as like a let's say some sort of manager, or like the head of association. Each use case we literally describe in SOP. And also if Smart Suite, if we add certain automations, we also have a different SOP, so that you have like a list of automations and what we did. So if it's something breaks along the way, we can easily, even you can fix it. So we basically try to teach them how to use it, but also how they can build upon that once they feel comfortable using it. So they don't need us to, for example, come back and manage every single thing. But if they want like an add a different field or a different view, they can easily without a fear do those things, taking into account that for them to be careful to not break anything or accidentally delete something that is connected to something else that's important, if that makes sense.
So if I understand correctly, there's two ways. Once the system is built, we've done the processes, we've built the software application. There's two ways to work with Proprium. People can either continue to maintain and upgrade on their own, or they can continue to work with you and
Exactly.
continue to upgrade projects along the way.
Exactly. So you basically choose
So
what.
I'm sorry.
Continue. I'm sorry.
So I know, so you're based in sunny Croatia. I'm
Yes.
based in Toronto, Canada. Have you only done this in Croatia?
No, we mostly actually do this for foreign types of clients. We work with, associations, with companies that are usually and most of the times outside of Croatia. So it's actually
Okay.
funny. Laura can attest to that. It's sort of like it became sort of a natural thing for us to work with clients that are outside of Croatia. So it's nothing, it's not something that's, what's the word?
It's
I think,
common for you.
Yeah,
yes,
it's normal.
exactly.
We are 90% global. So we actually do most of our work globally. Our clients are from United States, Canada, Australia, European Union, and we've done 400 plus implementations like this. I just want to emphasize that our winner in the category for business management from our point of view is Smart Suite, and this is why we're demoing this here. But what we actually do is we work with no code tools in general. So those are the tools that you don't need any technical programming knowledge to understand. People are familiar with, Excel is a no-code tool.
Yeah.
ClickUp, Airtable, Smart Suite, Notion, Trello. A lot of those are basically no-code tools. They fall under that category. So we work with most of the tools on the market. And basically, the solution to all of this is not the tool, just like Judita said, the tool is less percent in this equation. The bigger percent is the business strategy, understanding of processes, understanding what they need to achieve, and then we translate that into software.
Okay.
For the purposes of us showing how it can look, we chose Smart Suite, and we really think that's an amazing solution. I would definitely recommend it. But I just want to say that it's more important, just like you said in the beginning, what is actually happening in the organization and what's their recipe for success, right? So a good tool enhances that, and a bad tool enhances what's bad, right? So you really have to first solve the things that need to be solved prior to choosing the tool. Because what we've seen usually is people hear about the tool and they invest in it, they start using it, and people don't adapt to it because it's not prepared for them. So I would always be aware when I'm talking to a tool representative, because their goal is to sell me the tool, right? And when I'm talking to a business consultant, the business consultant's goal is your business to win, right? And then anything can actually, fit that if it has those features that you need. So we always start our engagements with an audit, because we have to be sure that we understand your processes, we know where you want to go, what are the results you want to achieve. And only after that, we talk about the projects. And like Judita said, usually our engagements are between 3 months up to 12 months, because this is very fast for us to set up. The longer ones are probably integrations, automations between software and training of 50 plus people. So it takes a little bit longer, but I think that within 3 months or less, we can start with the basics.
So the initial setup can be as fast as 3 months.
Correct.
Okay, that's fantastic. And who owns the data? So if I'm an association in Canada and I'm putting all of this stuff in a portal, and down the road I decide to leave, where can I get my data back?
Your data is your data. You can export it, you can move it to another software, just like with any other software you use, just like the things you put in Excel, that's your data. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm trying to think of, and we focus on the membership piece, but really what I'm hearing is it's a complete association management tool.
I would say business management tool. You can manage associations. We've done work with construction companies, beauty salons, accountants, lawyers, marketing agencies. So once your systems are mapped, and once you know what you want to achieve in the tool can then do that for you, basically, once you know where you're going. So yeah.
And you map the systems with
map
the client. They don't map it. Okay, so you work together to map it. They say, yes, this is accurate. And then you go to the software piece.
Yes, because we have to understand their business before doing anything. And I think that it's really hard to see the patterns in your own business when you're in your business. And you know that very well as a consultant.
Exactly.
I think you understand what I'm aiming at. So if you want to add more to that, I think this is exactly your area of expertise, basically, because you do reviews. And I think they're very crucial to organizations.
And one of the reasons we're speaking today is when I do reviews, I often say your systems aren't working for you. Excel just doesn't do it anymore. And they say we can't buy a $150,000 system. We need something much more modest that can grow with us. And I have been seeking something to recommend to people. So this is fantastic. How many times have you done these kinds of implementations?
400 plus in the last 8 years.
400. Wow. So so you've automated association project flows, association membership. This strikes me as something that would lend itself really well to a company that has a lot of people that work on site. So, you've got head office and you've got people, you are managing a window installation company, and you have window installers all over, using Toronto as an example, all over the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. So you could use this as a tool, so people would always you could do their scheduling, you could do the billing, you could do all of those things in one tool. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yes, and you can read my mind, and I promised the audience we didn't tell her this before the call, but one of our most recent successes, one of the case studies we're very proud of, it was a window installation company. So not only they can see, where all the staffers are listed and their engagements in the field, so they can see a map where somebody has to go. What I think was most important in that use case was the fact that when you go to the field and you're talking to a customer, you're writing things down. Only after you arrive back to the office, an admin person can actually take that data and order what they
Yeah.
need to order. So with SmartSuite and their use of SmartSuite, they cut that into more than half time, because they enter data on their iPads directly into a SmartSuite form. It arrives immediately to the office, and while they're traveling to another location, everything is already ordered. And then the admin person, confirms the order with the customer, and once the installation is basically agreed upon, they get a text message 24 hours prior that somebody's coming to confirm the date, right? And then an hour before, they get another text saying, we're coming in an hour, etc. And after the whole appointment is done, they get a text message with a thank you, ask for testimonial, and then they also follow up with them after a few weeks in the future. This cut more than 15 hours per person, basically, in their office who is doing admin work, because they don't have to call. They're not losing calls from customers while they're typing some other thing, or they're talking to the technician on the phone. So it was a great experience, and it was a great team to work with.
That's a fantastic example. Is there a size of organization where this doesn't work anymore? Suppose
No.
we were
No, I have to immediately say no, because SmartSuite has an enterprise plan, and they have large companies that are using this. We haven't worked with companies that have 5,000 plus employees, but I know that there are plenty of use cases related to that type of companies in SmartSuite. Yeah.
So if it was a company or that had 5,000 employees, I assume, without having done an organizational review or a process review, I assume that the way you would approach that is department by department. You would
Yes.
get the project one on first, or the finance, or whatever it is
Yes.
you want to do, and roll it out with a major strategic initiatives.
Yes.
You would step it through.
Yes, correct.
Okay. An association thing that I meant to ask earlier and I forgot. In the association world, anyone who's a member of a regulated profession, which happens in healthcare, it happens many professions. You have members have to take 24 hours of continuing education every 2 years. Could we build a tracker in this so when they sign up, they automatically get credits?
Yes. So with formulas, with automation, we can set that up. And when you mentioned the regulation, SmartSuite is HIPAA compliant, GDPR compliant. So I'm just scrolling on the website. We can also put that in the links later on. But they are also ISO compliant and all of those
Fantastic.
big certificates, because it's also a GRC platform. So it's really, I think, important for organizations to start tracking that, because I've had multiple organizations in that exact scenario. And when people need their credits to be, acknowledged, they lost the list, or they were aligning with the Zoom list of people who joined the call, but then they don't know if somebody left earlier, or if they didn't join, or they joined later. So it's a really hard way to, develop any type of tracking if you do that per event, and you can't know for sure. So the mistakes could happen with that type of tracking. Yeah.
So if you have a member that has taken 18 of their 24 credits and they have 6 weeks left to do it, could you set up an automation that says, you've got 6 more credits, you've got 6 weeks to do it in. Here are the events in your area. Here's the events on the webinar that you can sign up for and complete on time to keep your license active.
Without a problem. So somebody needs to feed that data into SmartSuite, and then automatic email can be sent by using the fields that have that information. So it's always going to be personalized to the member. And then the member, just like Judita mentioned, can have access to their own portal view, basically. So they can see that, and they can always have that link bookmarked. And when they need to check, they don't have to call somebody or email them. It's automatically updated live.
That's fantastic. I don't even know what to ask yet.
We love
It's a
when we
lot.
leave you speechless.
It can be
Pardon me, say that
overwhelming
again?
at first.
So we made sure not to show Teresa this prior to the live, so she's also seeing it the first time.
Yes.
So we wanted to kind of also surprise you, and I think we were able to do so. So I'm really happy. I want to switch us to the, just talking normally without the presentation on the screen part. And before I do that, I just want to if somebody is interested in talking a little bit more about this, we also have a free 15-minute call at any time. You can, take the link from the screen basically and book a call with me or Judita or anybody else from the Proprium Agency team to just tell us, what are you using with software, what are your challenges, and then we can see what the next steps would be. But we've also encountered a lot of people wanting to do certain stuff on their own, especially if they are small businesses. So they have 1 or 2 or less than 5 employees. And that's why we started Proprium Digital Network. So whoever is interested in doing this themselves, and they're a digital founder, or they lead an association, or they have any types of digital processes, this is a great community for ongoing guidance on automation and operations. So if you take the QR code, you can also join. You can find out a little bit more about the community. We made sure that the price of the community is the same price as a 1-hour call with us. And with that price, you, instead of just 1-hour call, you actually get access to our whole team for a month. It's a month-by-month community, and Teresa is also a member, so you'll see
Yes.
her there. So yeah, if you are interested, definitely click on that link. And I'll just put this
So
back.
can someone join the network, do a certain amount, and then get it going? But then if they want to get to a higher level of sophistication, then call you.
Yes.
Okay.
At any time. Yeah, for sure. So that's the whole point, because sometimes you don't have the investment, to jump on this immediately and have an outsourced team do this for you. You want to learn, you want to understand, and then later on you can definitely, choose a project. Yeah.
And it's not just SmartSuite; it's digital networks in general.
Correct.
Excellent.
So,
well, I can certainly think of lots of clients I've worked with for who this would be a really good tool to smooth things out operationally, to provide more information to the board, to give the board a better sense of what time is being spent on. So I'd be happy to recommend this and to work with you and my clients to see what can be done.
We would love that. Thank you so much. And we do have a question from the audience, actually. So
Okay.
I can see the name on my other screen. So we have Tom Schultz, who's watching us on LinkedIn. And his question is similar to the data ownership question. What can a business or organization do within this platform to handle and secure sensitive data if it finds its way in there? And Tom is a colleague of ours. He's a cybersecurity expert. So this is why he's asking that question.
Good question.
I think it's a great question. And this is basically related to those permissions that we have, that you can regulate very granularly. So, within fields, within columns and all of that. And I do always suggest, talk to an expert for cybersecurity, because when you are on the enterprise license, you also have those secure logins and all of the infrastructure that you need to connect to your network that somebody like Tom would be able to work with, if that makes sense. So maybe Judita, you want to add something to this question?
No, I think you answered it like in a very great way. I think people should always be careful about their information and what they're sharing. I think what also happens to us, people a lot of times would come and ask, what about AI and this and that, and you always have to take into consideration that you have to keep your data safe. So always be careful, read things twice, and always maybe try to talk to like a specialist in that field to maybe give you some more advice on how to keep things safe so that they don't leak.
But you guys, through Smart Suite, if we use the Smart Suite example, you can completely manage this at a permissions level so that an implementation in any country meets the laws of that country. In Canada, we have a big piece of privacy legislation called PPA that I won't bore you with the details, but we could make sure that the Smart Suite application for any client is PPA compliant.
Correct. And I think it's also a matter of your organization rules, not just for the software you're using or the implementation of the software, that you need to also train your team to know basically, where to log in, which networks not to use, of course, be compliant with the regulations in general. But I would just say that Smart Suite is then compatible with all of those laws and all of those rules that you need to follow. It's always possible to have a human mistake. Somebody can share some data on a public link, which they shouldn't, but that's more of a use case of a person who you've put on a permission that maybe shouldn't have had that permission.
Okay.
So it's more of an internal compliance thing. Yeah.
So at which that internal compliance gets managed all the time. It has to. So,
Yeah.
but this is an elegant digital solution for that too. Very good.
Yes. Thank you for the question, Tom.
Any other questions?
My internet froze, so that was
okay.
The internet.
That was interesting. It seems that it froze for Judita also, but thank you for the
Yes.
question, Tom. I don't see any other questions right now. So we can just continue. And I wanted to ask you, Teresa, based on what you've just seen, what's the first step you think somebody should take in getting this sorted as an organization? Doesn't have to be that they hire us or anything like that, but like what you've seen right now, what would you suggest as an expert working with associations?
I think the first thing I would do if I were CEO of an association, I would split it into a governance tool and an operations tool. And I would have the people on the governance side and the people on the operations side write down all their pain points. Excel, billing, creating member engagement, whatever those pain points are, and get as granular as possible so that we can start with a really good problem definition. And then with those problem definitions, I would then figure out what can be solved through an automation like this. What can be better integrated so the information flows more easily in the association, and what can we automate so instead of spending our staff resources on this, it can happen automatically so that we're more present and to implement the strategic changes we want to do. So I'd start with pain points.
I would add as a step after that, write down all the software you use. So
yes,
don't just plan what to use next, like potentially Smart Suite or anything that we mentioned. Just think about what you're using right now and what do you have in those free features or paid features inside the software you already have that you can utilize to be, better and of help. And then see what are your processes in terms of SOPs, protocols, anything like that, and whether you want to automate them in the current condition. Because, for example, we've also done automations from SharePoint, Excel, into Gmail, Outlook, Google Drive, OneDrive, any of those connections, cloud to email, documents to other software. And it doesn't mean that you are locked into what you have, or that you have to choose something new. So you can also utilize what you have at this moment and then grow into it later on and choose software later on. So I think it's very relevant to see what would you prefer for your result to be. So if you're scaling and if you need something, then I would look into choosing the software related to that. But if you're still on the level where you need to first evaluate your situation, try to utilize what you have in a more connected way. Yeah.
It's better use of money to grow into it. Yeah, that makes good sense.
Yeah, for sure. And, to wrap us up, my last question is basically, is there something that we didn't mention that maybe you want to add, or any questions that you have maybe for us, Teresa?
There's nothing that comes off the top of my mind. Have you ever come across an organization that this just doesn't help?
No, it's like using a phone or a computer. I don't see how your life would be manageable in 2026 without either or. Yeah.
Exactly.
Can you link it with an organization's accounting system?
If you're using Xero, QuickBooks, or any of the software that has integrations via API, webhooks, or works with Zapier and Make, no, not a problem at all. If it's a little bit more complex, then a developer can bridge that gap between a tool that you're using and SmartSuite or any other tools we mentioned. But yeah, without any problems. Our clients actually prefer that because sometimes you have people in the team that you want to be able to, create the invoices or quotes or anything related to the financial area, but you really don't want to add them into QuickBooks or Xero or give them that access. So our use cases so far were sometimes even to just have all of that data in SmartSuite or Airtable, and then they click like a check mark that triggers transfer of that data into QuickBooks or Xero, and then it brings back the invoice after the CFO approved it inside of QuickBooks. So
you don't have to re-enter it. It
No.
just automatically goes from essentially a pending project to a live project.
Yeah, I think that's very
Fantastic.
crucial, especially for safety that we talked about. And if you have certain team members with different levels of permissions, then you can't allow them to see other data, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Fantastic. I can't wait to start talking to my clients about this. This is fantastic, guys. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you for your
coming.
Yeah.
And for great questions.
Amazing questions. And Judita, great demo. I really think
Yes.
our audience enjoyed it. If you have any questions at any time, you can find us at proprium.agency, and we'll see you in the next live show. Bye.